Douglas and Reconstruction?
I think so.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Right.
Douglas was a radical Republican by any definition. He believed in an interventionist activist government. He he wanted suffrage immediately. He didn't want it limited. He gets into terrible battles, of course, with the leaders of the women's suffrage movement, Elizabeth Cady Stanton in particular, because the 15th Amendment ultimately is only for black males. That was a big fight for a while. They will later reconcile. But Douglas moves to Washington in Reconstruction. He moves there permanently in 1874 when his house was burned in Rochester, but he's moved earlier, really, and he edited a newspaper in Washington called the New National Era for 3 years. His sons actually ran it. It ultimately failed after about 3 years, but the New National Era is a fascinating newspaper that they kept alive as a sort of an African American monitor of Reconstruction issues. It's one of the best sources we have of those years. He became deeply disappointed in the 1870s. I mean, disappointed is a tiny word. Discouraged, angry, bitter. He gives a speech in 1875. Now, this is after the Panic of 1873 has hit, the Depression has hit. Democrats have taken back control of Congress by 1874. The Republican Party is greatly changing. He's deeply, deeply worried. He gave a 4th of July speech in 75. It's a fascinating speech, but in it he says, war brought peace and liberty, war brought rights and freedom to my people, but what will peace among the whites bring? And he spins out this metaphor of peace among the whites, by which he meant, what if Reconstruction ends with some kind of white supremacist reconciliation of the country, which is, by and large, what happened.